Anamorphic lenses have been used in cinema for nearly a century, and trust me, nowadays almost every film you will watch was filmed with some sort of anamorphic lens. Next time you watch a film, watch out for those dramatic blue horizontal lens flares, the oval-shaped bokeh, and of course the iconic widescreen 21:9 look. Now in the past, to get this look you would have had two options: either be super duper rich and be able to buy an anamorphic cinema lens, which can cost upwards of the casual, 50 grand. The other option was to construct a rather janky and still quite expensive anamorphic lens kit. These options are obviously not ideal for us running gun filmmakers who don't have the casual 50 grand lying around, or don't want to run around with a massive lens construction thing on the front of their camera, for obvious reasons of course. But luckily for all of us, there has been some true innovation in the anamorphic lens space, coming straight from Sirui, who in the past have been mainly known for their tripods, so this has definitely come out of left field for them. This lens was extremely interesting to me, while not exactly being the cheapest lens on the market, retailing at just under $700 US. In comparison to the before mentioned options, this is definitely a steal, and there's no other lens at the moment which can actually compete with this lens. But does it really warrant this price tag? Keep watching to find out. Yeah. Bam. So the unboxing experience is pretty bog standard. You get the included lens of course and the lens pouch. You also get a nice little cleaning cloth, which seems to be standard to every single purchase you make nowadays. So this lens stops down to f1.8, which is great to get some of that crispy bokeh. It's also a 1.33 anamorphic type, which is not the strongest anamorphic type, but still provides some pretty awesome lens flares and some nice oval-shaped bokeh. I actually personally like the more subtle lens flares, just so it doesn't look straight out of some sort of, cheap sci-fi movie. So I'm happy with the 1.33 anamorphic look. So shooting with anamorphic will also require you to actually de-squeeze the image in post-production so you can get the right proportions of your image. So if you plan to get this lens, make sure you have a camera monitor so you can de-squeeze the image in your live view and then you can actually see properly what you're filming. I would have liked if the minimum focus distance could have been slightly shorter, along with the lens being slightly wider, so it could be used in a wider variety of circumstances. However, I'm still extremely happy with the 50mm choice that Sirui made. Moving on to the actual construction of the lens, it's built really well, being made entirely of some sort of metal alloy thing that I assume is aluminum. Now the first thing that surprised me with this lens is actually not the image, but actually the size of it. The first time I saw photos of it, I thought it would be closer to around a telephoto lens, which are quite big and beefy. That was just, from looking at anamorphic lens kits and seeing how big they were. But Sirui have managed to cram all this stuff into one small lens, which is pretty much the same size as my 30mm from Sigma. Now this lens is completely manual, which is standard to cinema lenses, so no automatic aperture or focusing, but that being said, the focusing and aperture wheels are really smooth, so you're not really going to have an issue with getting smooth focus pulls. With that being said, I don't really quite understand why Sirui didn't actually add focus and aperture gears to make it more applicable in more pro circumstances, where you could actually just put your follow focus on it or a focus motor like on my gimbal. That would have just been a great addition to this lens, and I feel like more people would have been inclined to purchasing it if they had done that. But still, you can just find cheap on Amazon, add the ring on top of it, and you're good. But that's just a little gripe of mine. It would have been nice to see on this, but obviously it wasn't possible. Currently, this lens is available for Sony E mount, Fujifilm X mount, and of course a Micro Four Thirds mount. I really hope they'll also add Canon mount in the future, as I'm sure there's lots of people waiting for their EF mounts. Although in the meantime, if you really want this lens, you can always just go out and buy a cheap adapter, as there's no electronics in this lens, and just slap that onto your beautiful Canon camera. The image quality on this lens is absolutely incredible. It is sharp at every aperture, even wide open at f1.8, which is pretty unheard of at this kind of a price point. It's still quite expensive, but it's just incredible that Sirui have managed to make their first lens this amazing. So yeah, I'm really starting to fall in love with this lens and the images which it creates. So now for the most important question of all. Does this lens actually look good and look like an anamorphic lens? And you know what? I'll let you guys be the judge of that with some test footage that I shot right here. So yeah, in my opinion, it looks fantastic. So this lens is really a great option for every run and gun filmmaker out there. It really delivers a great image at a really good price. This product is extremely unique as there are currently no other options out there. Although, judging by the success of this campaign and lens, I'm sure it will spark a lot of competition with other manufacturers. It's really incredible how Sirui have managed to kind of revolutionize the lens market right now and just change things up and actually make these kind of anamorphic looks more accessible. So if you crave that epic anamorphic look but you're not JJ Abrams, this is definitely the lens for you, and it's definitely worth checking out with the link below in the description. That was the wrong way around, but we'll keep going. Big thanks goes out to Sirui for sending out this lens, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please show them some support, and this lens is just absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to show you guys what I can create with this lens. That's about it for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.